Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. As 100 Thieves get ready to take on Immortals, it felt right to remember the strength of our first place team by serving up a pipe and hop replay of Closer's unreal quadra-kill that delivered not just the W for the team, but the Grubhub dub.
You know, and as we watch this clip, I feel like we've seen Closer have so many of these moments this split where he has insane performances on Diana, where he's like killing basically half the enemy team by himself, or the Olaf where he's getting a triple kill at Baron. But this play was on Graves, right, which is not a meta jungler, pretty much a pure damage jungler who he had to have relatively good setup in fights to carry this hard. And all last game, you know, this was a close game versus CLG, and he really performed beautifully.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think another important part for if Closer is on something like this is if he has setup, and he did with the Graves, which we called out when we looked at this draft. So congrats to him on delivering the win.
Shout out to the setup, shout out to our official delivery partner, Grubhub. Bring home the gold with Grubhub Guarantee and enjoy unbeatable prices and on-time delivery. If your food is late, Grubhub will send you a perk for at least $5 off. Download the app today and use offer code GHFeeds for free delivery and a chance to win a Hextech chest plus key along with other prizes. Now, while you grab yourself something to snack on, Kaizen, I know you're looking to sink your teeth into 100 Thieves mid-game or maybe lack thereof.
Yeah, I want to sink my teeth in, but there's nothing there.
Oh, no.
Your tummy's empty.
And to be fair, this is a first place team, right? So I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it is legitimately an issue that 100 Thieves, they get ahead consistently early, but when it comes to the mid game, they start to cede leads back to the enemy team because they just generally don't have good objective setup. And when we think about a team that's supposed to be a first place contender, as we look toward playoffs when we expect TSM is going to be spiking, we expect that EG is going to continue to be good, and so on, it's really important when you're against teams of equal caliber in terms of individual skill that you're able to snowball your leads into wins. And 100 Thieves, even though they've had moments where they've looked really dominant and just be able to run over enemy teams, they're increasingly faltering game over game.
And a lot of people have been pointing out their drafting and how they had a really good meta read early on, and it's maybe fallen off. I actually do think that this team still has the potential to have remarkable flexibility in draft because they don't have a similar issue to what they had this past spring, right? Where they're definitely going to be like fully stopped or stymied by a meta. But then, to your point, like, then you have to go in with like, okay, what are our objective setups going to be? Like, how do we play these drafts similarly to what we did early on in the season? And it really seems to me that they struggle to, you know, do stuff like sync up waves or make sure that they're grouping and have good vision around objectives and kind of all collapse. Sometimes it seems a little desynchronized. Someone's going in when the rest of the team isn't following up, and that's what they really need to shore up if they want to be a championship team.
Yeah, and the good news for them is, look, they have a lot of strengths that are covering up their weaknesses, so they have time to resolve them, right? Look, this is a compliment.
Right.
They still have, in my opinion, the best bot lane of the league.
That's incredibly backhanded.
Top two mid, top two jungler, a great top laner, right? So they still have time to figure out the fundamentals and really drill us in. And Reaper is a championship coach, right? So I think they will resolve these issues, but right now it's not looking super hot.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there in saying they do have a boss, dang diggity, I was gonna say a bad word, bot lane. It's facing off against another great bot lane that's been performing well on the side of Immortals. Let's send it to our casters. We got the Doug duo ready to bring it all to you.
Thank you very much, Latigris. I am Freak. This is still Azale. And before we jump into the game, on behalf of our friend Captain Flowers, we are spreading the good word of the COVID-19 vaccine and the campaign for hashtag butts in seats. The LCS wants to encourage anyone that is able to get a COVID-19 vaccine. If you're in the United States, it is free. And you can find out how to get one by checking out those resources on your screen here. Let's get vaccinated and reunite butts and seats and the LCS with a live audience. Honestly, I miss you guys. It's just Azale over here, and you're great company, but I would like more people too.
I would agree. I mean,
you are great company, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's debatable. The other part, though, I mean, crowds is just such a fun part of these events. It's honestly what made me fall in love with casting the first time. You know, back when I started a long time ago, just hearing the reactions of the crowd and having that fun atmosphere. So. I hope we can get back to it soon, but we are into the draft here. First pick, Lee Sin with Diana up, ? That is one of the strongest picks for Closer as well, so I am pretty surprised by that.
But I think they want the gank follow-up, right? If their plan is something else, if their plan is, hey, You know, we can just pick Ryze and just bully Insanity whenever he plays, so we just want to guarantee the Lee Sin. Like, it is interesting, right? Because clearly the metagame that most people play is Diana's the best jungler if Xin Zhao is banned, and so we do that. And 100 Thieves are like, well, that's nice, but we have our own read. I will always give the nod. The team is like, I know what everyone expects. We think something else, especially because we have way more magic damage mid laners. The need for AP jungle has fallen off a lot.
So it's interesting because like I have no problem with Lee Sin as a jungler. I guess I'm just more surprised that when Red Side is banning Xin and you're not going to pick Diana, why don't you just ban it and then have Lee Sin against an easier jungle matchup, right? Against an effectively worse champion. Sure. But either way, Draven back-to-back days. Raze brought it out yesterday. And Immortals did win a weird one against EG where, you know, they kind of got ahead early, didn't do anything for a long time, ended up winning team fight late. We saw it was this Essence Reaver lethality build as well. He went Essence Reaver into
Prowler's Claw, Reaver,
yeah. So it was very high burst, very squishy build. Did end up working out for him in the long run. And against the Kalista, I mean, this is kind of two of the biggest laning power marksman in the game, right? Like, we were looking at the stats last week. Kalista has a winning matchup in pro play, statistically against literally every champion. Yeah. So Draven is maybe one that could contest this and really kind of go toe-to-toe.
It's going to be fun. They got to hit you. They got to land the autos, and they're going to be scrapping back and forth. Obviously, Immortals on double marksman. Both can be a little tough to get super consistent damage out during the entire team fight. You know, it's not an Aphelios or a Trist or whatever, but obviously can do quite a lot. The Lucian and Draven both. Diana there for magic damage. No frontline yet for Immortals. We really don't see hard tanks in the top lane. Support often is not enough. We'll see as that goes through. Braum, actually added to the ban list, is a good champion at like really making sure Draven stays alive. If Braum Q lanes, you kind of just always have the follow-up. So that's off the table here. 100 Thieves actually respecting that one. Nautilus, you know, pretty reliable engage champ. You press R, you click on someone, get the follow-up afterwards.
Hard engage there. The follow-up from Diana, the engage in the 2v2. I think it makes a lot of sense. You want to play aggressive. It's also a strong pairing with the Kalista, so you're denying something from your opponents. Thresh was already banned by 100 Thieves. You take away the Nautilus. Leona is available, though. Set is available, something that he likes to play a lot. Mundo would be interesting, but with top lane not yet locked in, you know, it's going to be blind, and I do think Mundo blind is pretty risky. I do think there are some matchups that are very difficult. Is Gwen banned? Yes, it is. So that would be one that you really have to be worried about. Some of the brawler champions I think can be tough, but a lot of those actually aren't really picked, like things like Fiora that can really kind of abuse it. So maybe it wouldn't be bad.
All right, well, Set on the table still could be top or support, but we're going to wait to see what 100 Thieves pick for the last one. And I said we don't see many tanks in the top lane, but Ornn is going to come through as a hard frontliner to make sure that he's there.
I want to see Trundle.
And Ryze can belt out damage. Yeah, I'm a fan of Trundle.
I actually think Trundle is so good into this team. Trundle Pillar is actually really annoying for Kalista to deal with in team fights. It's also a really good matchup into the Ornn. I'm not sure if Revenge really plays it, but I think it's a really strong matchup. You build a little bit of armor early, you know, to deal with potentially Lee Sin, potentially some of these matchups, but I think it would fit really well here.
Hey, I mean, this is not that far apart. Tahm Kench. I'm glad we're seeing more lane Kench, by the way. These people picking support are trolling. He's a great top and mid.
Yeah, I think I mean, so I will say I think it can work support, but not in the same spot that old Tahm Kench worked, right? So a lot of people feel like, it's like, okay, Tahm Kench was good here before. Pair it with Aphelios, great. No, don't do that. Pair it with like Kalista or something and use it as a set, you know? Like use it as this scrappy, high damage early game champion. I do think that the 1v1 is like pretty doomed for Ornn, but Tahm Kench isn't necessarily going to have enough damage to actually kill off the Ornn, so likely what this top lane will look like is Ornn just kind of sits back and wave clears at the tower. Now that gives you priority and maybe gives you the ability to play more for scuttles, to move around and potentially, you know, get in closer's face. Tanks just generally don't have enough damage to actually ever kill Tahm Kench in a 1v1. It just kind of doesn't happen. You do your upfront damage with Ornn and it's like, oh, you're making some headway. But his Q heal ramps as he gets lower on health, and you never usually have enough damage to actually finish it off. So as far as the 1v1 goes, I think it is heavily favored for Revenge. Pretty cool pick here, but 100 Thieves, the Braum ban also making a lot more sense when the Ornn comes through. And I think they're going to be heavily focused on just diving onto these double marksmen. You have Ornn engage, Lee Sin follow-up, you have Huhi on the set to follow up, and they're clearly looking to try to get onto this backline and kill them. And Tahm Kench makes that more difficult too, because he's one of the toughest champions to fight past.
Yes, and if you do fight past him, he will Q you, he'll auto you, he will then devour you, and you're going to die, and it was your fault for ignoring the Tahm Kench. He is definitely out the bench. And he is looking good. Tier start for Rise, not a huge shock there. As we wait to see what Spice might come in for the level 1. Who he waiting in Tri-Brush. I want to point out, I think this is actually smart, FBI not binding early on in the game. Let your teammates go out and check the level 1s. Once you're sure it's safe, then you come over, then you grab the Black Spear and you go for the rest of it. Because I don't believe they've pre-bound. I don't think he bought a second one or anything as like a whoopsies. Yeah.
So. Actually, you can't buy another one once you're bound.
Oh, it is?
Right?
Okay, right.
You can only buy one if you just delete it and then buy another one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there we go. Binds here. And off we go. Again, making sure that your level 1 doesn't get weird in case they go for a really fast level 1 in a bot lane. If you make Huhi take the Black Spear, he's not leaving base at 15 seconds, and you get a delay. That's why they're doing it. So I think that's actually very smart. It's a very small optimization, but one that you should just do. It's free to get it right? It's just pay attention, play differently, bind at 110, off you go.
Yep. So gonna be a lot of eyes on this bot lane. Kalista, Draven, very aggressive stuff. It's Ignite on both supports. So the potential here for a scrap is very, very high, but it does feel like Immortals, at least for these early levels, are just going to have to back it up and going to lose 2 CS already, but a nice little trade onto Huhi.
It's phase rush on set, so Huhi really can't afford to take that damage because he can't really easily trade it back. You can't just stun and get the aftershock and then be okay. So Huhi is really going to have to navigate these fights pretty deftly because he's not going to have a bunch of gold income, and that can be a little tough to deal with here. A couple of CS, of course, had to get dropped by Raze and Destiny. They do not like the level 1 against the fact that if you set flash and FBI goes in, you have exactly this happen. And suddenly Raze is down to summoners. You played the first wave, right? Just do it for the second one.
Yeah, and this actually happened to Raze yesterday on Draven as well, where they had to back off level 1, and then level 2 he didn't back up far enough and actually got hooked. And it's the same kind of situation. Yes, Huhi did spend the flash, but that is a very common play. Especially when people are going to play Hex Flash in this sort of play. Sets love to use that early and to go really aggressive. Seeing a nice little trade there from Revenge. So it's a great play from Huhi, but Raze needs to be more respectful of this because this is back-to-back days on the Draven. He's been punished at level 1.
True. Sad for Revenge. He missed the cannon minion. That's actually going to hurt because that's worth 3 to 4 CS in
ruins
itself.
Your first recall oftentimes. It's actually a really big deal when you miss early cannons because you're trying to get to these gold breakpoints where you can have an effective buy, and that's a big part of that in the first handful of waves.
Yes, it is. So that's going to be tough right now. Revenge, though he has shoved in the rest of this wave, is going to be sitting there and not buying anything like a Ruby Crystal or whatever. So just going for a little bit of poke, occasionally laying the Qs. But yeah, it's going to be basically 16 to 16 in farm, but only one of these got the cannon. So it is Someday currently winning the lane up in top lane.
Destroying. Absolutely
just
devastating.
One-sided, 100 to 0 in cannon counts. Closer wants to walk in on the mid. Here we go. That's going to be the Rune Prison. That's going to be the Q to follow. Flash E to get the damage. Follows in a flash to safety. Insanity's going to stay alive. And Xerxes wants to come back in. Auto Q would kill, but it's a flash for safety from Abadaga. Again, Auto Q would have killed, had to flash away before the auto came across. Did so, and a lot of summoners down.
Yeah, a lot of summoners down, but this is actually so much better for Xerxes. He got the extra camp cleared before he actually showed up mid. So he shows up level 4. They get more summoners out of 100 Thieves. So 100 Thieves going for that proactive play, but the first Q actually missed from Amadaga. Xerxes is there. If they don't have the damage to actually follow through and get that kill, he's even going to be able to grab that top scuttle. He did not get bot scuttle, so it is a trade there, but going to be a camp ahead on the better scaling jungler, and you dissuaded that first gank, so nicely done.
And Xerxes choosing to play for tempo. Says, okay, I did my thing, but the Krugs are up. Instead of taking a recall and, re-clearing with an amp toe and boots or something like that, we're just going to go ahead and just cycle the top side. Curious when he does want the recall in, but right now there's a fight in the bottom side as Hex Flash comes in for decent damage. Raze on the back foot, 13 CS down without much extra to farm. Pretty big deficit down here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, after you use both summoners there, you can't really play the lane properly. It's pretty dangerous. Knowing that Huhi is going to be sitting in the brush, he's playing sweeper, so he's actually clearing out these wards and threatening Hex Flash constantly. Raze in a really, really rough spot. We'll see how much of the farm he can actually pick up at the tower. It doesn't seem like anyone's pathing down from 100 Thieves, so it should likely just be a recall. He'll pick up as much of that farm as possible, but the early lane enormously in the favor of 100 Thieves.
Looking good. Okay, 50 to 25, 10 to get. So we'll, see something in the mid-30s for sure. It's pretty easy to last hit with a level 4 Draven.
Yeah.
One of the few AD carries who actually one-shots casters with just a Doran's Blade at an early level. That is a very important difference here. So you can see it equalizes at -18.
Oh.
And this is cheeky.
I like this. This is really smart. You know, if you think that they're going to try to hard push here to try to reset, assuming you have reset, then it can be pretty nice. And now Raze, just with a couple autos, you have the ability to actually freeze this because he started the push. And so now 100 Thieves can sit here and say, all right, you don't have sums. We're in a good position. We win the 2v2, and the wave is pushing away from you, so we can deny farm.
Right, like FBI recalls on a brush who he holds the wave, and then Destiny goes, is he gone? If he's gone, I can fight this guy. If he's not gone, I'm dead if I stop the freeze. And you lose lane off that, basically. Big damage here, and it's a level 6 all-in on the top side, but now on the bot side, Moore's going in. Big punch. Who he flashless means he's going to go down. And that is money in the pockets, but only to Destiny. Was not picked up by the AD carry. Revenge getting away from what could have been a gank from Closer. Top, he's going to actually bleed the farm. He's afraid of getting dove. And he walks away from his own lane.
I feel like there's actually no reason to back off. If you see Rise, there's 0% chance they can dive you. It's an out-of-mana Ornn with no ultimate. A level 5 Lee Sin does not kill you there when you have Devour. So either way, we will see. Here we go again, down to the bottom side. Xerxes was pathing down, so Immortals tried to make the aggressive move here. And the hook does land, and as you pointed out, it is phase rush on the set, right? So he's not nearly as tanky. Does get a pretty nice haymaker there, but FBI not able to actually turn around the kill.
Yep.
It would have been a disaster if Raze got that kill. Now, what the early base on the top side did get for Revenge was he has set up a bit of a freeze, so we can actually force out some days TP now.
He flashes for the stun, but only gets a punch for it, and now getting slowed up. He stepping up too much, but Haymaker buys the time, gets a health bar low enough that with some days TP, they're going to feel okay. He's ultiless, but he's still an Ornn.
There's actually a pretty big cost to that, though, because the wave was frozen against the Ornn, so since he couldn't TP to his own wave to fix that, like, you're probably losing a wave or so of experience up on that top side. Like, I do think he lost that full previous cannon wave while he was going there to bail out mid. So despite the fact that it's a good TP, he saves his teammate, they spent the flash, they spend the TP, and Ornn has to pay the additional price on that top side. I mean, he's doing a good job in lane, so he's not really that behind, but he did lose a full wave, including a cannon.
All right, cannon. Oh, yes, he got it.
It's a dub.
Huge. All right, Revenge is now the best laner in this game.
That's the Grubhub dub.
That is what you wanted to see. You know, it's just getting a nice amount of gold from last hitting the, I believe, third cannon.
Deliver that cannon right into your pockets.
That's true. I mean, it's great because he even eats things.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
That's true.
So
He
emblematic.
should be the spokesperson, really.
Yeah. Love it. And he even delivers people. I mean, it's just perfect. We can keep going, but I'm happy to, you know, hop off the topic
Absolutely no
as well.
reason to keep going,
Absolutely
but we could.
no reason. We could, though.
keep going,
yeah. Happy to see him getting top lane play? Yeah. I mean, this champ really is absurd. I think he's very, very strong. And, yeah, not enough teams play him. Like, he's very good. Yeah, not in literally every composition, but should well be in the metagame, and glad to see him getting the respect he deserves.
Yeah, and I think he fits in well in top. You know, especially, like, one of the things that I think people sometimes overlook is how differently you have to play the game with different types of compositions, different styles, right? And so I do think your team has to make some pretty serious adjustments. Like, if you're used to having a control mage or a marksman in mid, and now you have a Tahm Kench, that's pretty different. But Tahm Kench, top, plays similarly to a lot of different champs.
Nice by Someday has realized, okay, if I W, I immune the knockup, and it means I get my W auto trade pattern. That's going to actually feel pretty good for me, so we can kind of deal with the dive nicely. But the rest of it's still going to matter here. Closer and Abadaga with some mid control, walk up to the top river. They do kill this on vision. There is a Trinket Ward right there, but we aren't seeing Lucian move. We aren't seeing Tahm Kench able to get his way down. And Thieves will pretty much cleanly take this Rift Herald not long after the spawn without a lot of resources spent. Set did walk towards mid. He saw the wave, said, okay, no one's going, I come back down. 2-1 in the bot lane means a single turret plate is taken, but not much more than that. So, gotta say, a pretty low-cost play. Well done by 100 Thieves.
Absolutely. I wonder if they actually spotted Diana on the bottom side, or if it was, you know, just kind of a read that they wouldn't be able to do anything about this, because it was a pretty confident play. Just taking it with 2 members that early is not something you usually see. So, either way, nicely done for them. Not too much to trade back, but Immortals did get the dragon on the bottom side. They are up gold already, so things looking good for Immortals. And now this move towards Abadaga.
Ultible. Destiny goes for the Q first, and it means the flash gets him to safety. Maybe he wasn't quite in our range, but a single flash means that Abadaga is safe.
Yeah, they do get out that flash and they don't spend too much, but I do think, to your point, you could probably just flash R as Nautilus there, and then even if he flashes, you have the potential to follow with the hook, so maybe something there. Either way, this is a pretty low-cost roam for them. They do get out that flash, and now he has flash available for a potential return later.
Yeah.
And I want to see them try to look to punish that, because that's where you really get the value on these types of plays.
Dives in again, takes a decent trade, and devoured means you're not flying anywhere. Now, is it enough? Does Revenge win this fight now? Next Q will stun. Oh, this is the pushback entirely. And it's okay, the slow's good enough, and someday is able to live, trading his ult for ult.
I've never seen that. Just chomped him straight out of his dash. You know, that looked pretty nice. I guess he didn't have the Q cooldown. I didn't see if another Q hit a minion or if he didn't actually get the Q cooldown back, because he had 3 stacks. He couldn't actually land a stun there.
Yeah, I think
Probably-
the one's long enough. That like QR was just like all he could have done.
Okay. So either way, you know, doesn't get the kill, but does force out the ult, does force him to take a bad back. Again, he had TP to mid lane. Being able to actually force that with the wave crashing at the tower is a big deal, you know, and this cost is kind of expanding now because he is down a decent amount of farm. He is still Ornn, so like at the end of the day, sure, maybe it's not the end of the world. Both of them are going for Anathema's Chains rush here. I'll be interested to see who he binds to. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be the Draven. You know, maybe it is the Lucian if Lucian kind of having that better game. But there's with 2 marksmen, and then when you look on the other side, there's Ryze plus Kalista. It's still kind of risky because you have no defensive stats.
All right, stun comes in. Ult's going to land decent damage here. Right now, Huhi is the target. Punch comes in. Saved by FBI. They go back into Destiny. No, they're going to run away. Ulti's traded in a couple of spots here. Hunty's able to stay alive, though, as we'll wait to see. Bot lane going to be attacked a bit. Dragon on the table still. First one was grabbed by Immortals a while back. They're going for number 2 right now. Can this be fightable? Huhi took a full recall. He's walking back now. But can Thieves really go for this one? They're going to summon Herald for bot lane. Dragon still under attack. Smiteable and claim. 2 dragons, nothing. Flash forced out a closer as he was in range for too long and was in threat. So there we go. Plates number 1, 2, and 3 all killed in the bottom lane. A lot of money onto the Lee Sin and Kalista.
Looking pretty good there. Not a bad trade as they are trying to close that gold gap somewhat. But Immortals on their way to another Cloud Dragon and potentially going to be able to keep that snowball going. 100 Thieves, though, on the wraparound here, trying to threaten a potential dive.
Gonna go ahead and, oh, it reset. It's gonna be tough. Now there's maybe a fight because Insanity wants in. Tumblr coming in as well. Here we go. Xerxes flies in. Has ulti still. There's a dunk in for Huhi, but doesn't take him very far and just goes down. But double knockup for Sunday means 1 and 2. How about the rest, though? Knockup not gonna find much. The kick back to Insanity. Flashes back in, takes down Closer, and a cleanup for Revenge. Soloing the Kalista. FBI is down. 4-2 on the scoreboard. Immortals are ahead.
Yeah, Revenge didn't even need to use his ultimate. He has about 90% health left. Actually 1v1ing that Kalista, looking pretty hopeless for FBI, and Immortals playing a pretty darn good game here in the early levels, looking strong. We'll have to see what 100 Thieves can get done in the later stages. I mean, they do have some strong scaling in some areas, especially that Ryze when you're looking towards it. The start of this fight looked like it could have gone pretty well for 100 Thieves, but Huhi ends up going down so fast, can't get the Haymaker off. You know, he's trying to position here for the potential base breaker, does get that down, but he just dies so damn quickly. And then if you look at the bottom of your screen, Revenge winning this 1v1 that just looks so hopeless for FBI.
Summoner heals gets last.
It did about 3% of his health there. It's not that close.
No, it is not. And this is why. Tahm Kench is a good champion. Teams should pick him. He's very good. And to point out, right, he has, I think, 2 or 3 offensive health ratios. So things like Anathemas into either like a Sunfire item or a Warmogs means you are directly scaling his damage. Right, he scales off bonus health. So you buy those, you are buying offense as well as durability. I like the build. He's doing great.
Yep. I like Iceborne a lot on him. I think the slow is just so valuable.
Yeah.
You know, on the auto, it helps you just chain the slows with your Q to your auto or auto to your Q, making it easier to land that there. And just kind of continuously going for these trading patterns. I mean, Someday is staying relevant. He's picking up farm. You know, Revenge isn't just going to one-shot you. He is a tank at the end of the day, but Someday can't really scrap, so you just kind of have to concede. You slowly do give up farm, and as a result, he's a number of waves behind. I'm going to be interested to see, you know, if there are some more full 5-on-5 fights around these dragons, if the Anathema chains will pay off. Because what I was trying to get to previously is that there's multiple real threats as far as damage threats here. And when you do go for this, it is incredibly strong against that one guy that you say gets to have no fun. But the Draven could still kill you if you link to the Lucian, and same thing with the other teams.
Knockup is found, dunk backwards, goodbye to Raze. He's gonna go down just as Turret felt the same. Nicely done, 100 Thieves get the kill onto Closer. Really no way he's gonna get away. Could have chosen who got it. And now Abadaga could be under fire. Xerxes coming around, dodges the first bit of damage. Does he dive in for more? Because someday is here. He's going to find himself a knockup, and that's going to be Rune Prison afterwards. How do you get out from this one? He's not gonna. Xerxes just goes down in a great charge, finds a knockup on Insanity, calling his decent damage. As reinforcements come around, what's going to happen now? A half-health Lee Sin is targetable. Closer should have been spotted. Can't get anything else done.
Yeah, can't get anything there. But that kill on Raze is so big because he loses stacks. He never got the cash out, didn't get the kill, has been stacking up towards that for 15 minutes. And not getting the payout is such a big deal. This champion generally needs to play from ahead. He's been down on farm. They lost their tower. So he's already pretty behind his opponent in FBI, and now losing those stacks is really going to put him down.
Well, 22 CS lead in the top lane. We do have at least that side of the map going well for Immortals' side. Otherwise, yeah, FBI, I think, is clearly ahead over there. Mid lane 11 CS difference, not too bad. Diana is farming more overall. We've got a close game, though. 700 gold puts 100 Thieves ahead thanks to all the turret destruction they have done. The plates, the turrets themselves have been quite valuable. But 2 Dragons to 0. Third one coming up soon. We have yet into the Cloud Soul game. We actually have had more Cloud Dragons killed this split than any other individual dragon in the LCS, and here comes the Realm Warp. Here comes the big play for 100 Thieves. They want in. Stun comes across on a close. They don't shut him down just yet, but it's a big damage on Destiny. He's going to go down, and it's going to be one turn back for one, though, as Lee Sin does fall. It's time for Xerxes to run away. Without a jungle, going to be tough, but Revenge wants in. Finds a knockup on a 2. Raze mostly untouched, but can't quite find his target. Watch out for the thick skin. Gets that one in, but be careful. Revenge is still running out of health, and he will drop. The re-engage is good from Diana. They're going to get someday as well, and Abadaga is left alone to just get burned down and run for his life. May live, but the third dragon will go the way of Immortals. Insanity, can he get the autos? Does he get it? Nice job with the blast plant to get him away.
Yeah, and Insany's flash is just about up, so if he could have continued that chase, maybe could have got the kill. But Immortals, again, taking the fight. 3 straight dragons for them. And Revenge got so much done in that fight. You know, the timing on his W was really nice on multiple occasions. And yes, he does end up going down, but it took them so long to knock down this Tahm Kench that it just bought so much time. 100 Thieves are looking for the Realm Warp engage here, but watch Revenge. He just W straight on. As they arrive, the immediate knockup onto Closer. Closer is getting focused down. He flashes on top of him. He goes down as the trade of jungle for support. The W cooldown comes back up, and he gets the knockup here on both of the carries, going straight forward, creating space. Yes, he is getting focused down, but as Insanity arrives, Raze, Insanity, Xerxes take full advantage. Xerxes goes in, a 3-man ulti from him. They clean him up with the double marksman free firing. They get the dragon as well. And now up to the top side, 100 Thieves trying to trade back with the Rift Herald. Will be able to grab it.
And they're fighting for it. We saw Huhi and Closer like try to grab it. So it was like, nah, dude, what the heck, man? It's mine. Takes it. He'll be able to charge that one in. Doesn't actually matter technically who wears it. You don't get the instant gold like you do with plates. So you can just outrange it, summon it, and walk away and let FBI get all the money. So it doesn't really matter who pressed that button. But, you know, you can press a button. That looks kind of fun sometimes, as the turret's going to be very, very low. Destiny's going to find Huhi yet again, and this is going to be a set losing a lot of health. Puts on the punch, flashes, and then is pulled in with Fate's Call, but now has got nowhere to go. Dunks back onto the turret, and it's a 2 for nothing. Immortals are coming alive, and they're going to find another. Abadaga phase rush will not be enough. He's been collapsed upon, and finally Raze gets to cash in 11-6. Immortals are popping off.
100 Thieves are starting to struggle in this one, falling further and further behind. They've been keeping the gold close. Immortals have been getting the objectives, but now Immortals extending their gold lead here as well. Insanity is huge. 5-0-3. He's got to be close to the grudge completion if he doesn't already have it. And the cash in as well for Raze is going to get him to a much better point. So Immortals had a good read on the play. You can see everyone's already moving up on the mini-map. You know, Draven was coming up through mid lane as well, and they're just ready for this play. Huhi does escape, just barely, but it cost them a lot to do it. FBI kind of had to position someone aggressively to stay in range for the Kalista ultimate to pull him back, and as a result, yes, you ult out Set, but you go down, Set goes down anyway, and now Closer looking like he might just die again.
Kicks back, no flash, no wards. Q's to the red buff, though. Good awareness to find a way out of that one. Still, though, it's pretty punishing, pretty hurt here, and it's going to be red buff maybe handed over as Xerxes walks in with Destiny. Jungle support duo is always great because oftentimes the jungler can't put many wards down, but the support sure loves the support of someone else to make sure they can put those wards and feel safe. You get rewarded with the red buff steal, you get rewarded with deep wards. You know that they're not around, and now we might find the next dive. Hex Flash being channeled, wants the Kalista, looks for the ulti, gonna find Diana coming in, and that is an instant kill. FBI had nothing he could have done about that one, and now it's time for Sunday to drop as well. Yeah, that's gonna mean nothing for him as Revenge is here yet again. Mid lane turret to fall, it's a gigantic lead. About 5,000. 13 to 6 the scoreboard, 20 minutes in, and Baron is to be attacked.
I mean, you've got double marksman here. You go for this every time. Immortals are running over 100 Thieves. Abadaga is pushing on that top side. Will they even come down here? Looks like Closer wants to try to get in range, but I'm not sure he's really going to be able to do anything here. It's looking like it's too late.
Yeah, Closer is going to be spotted, can't get into time, and now going to dive in for his death. I appreciate the effort. I think the only way you win is probably with that steal. You are too far behind otherwise, but the Baron's been picked up, and Immortals ready to pick up a lot.
Yeah, the Eclipse has been completed. This is what I was expecting him to go for yesterday instead of Prowler's Claw. I do like the Eclipse here a lot for the Draven. I think the Omnivamp is actually pretty valuable in the ability to kind of have that shield when you are scrapping. You know, I do think Draven needs some survivability oftentimes, and he is looking really good on the Draven here today. Insanity ridiculously strong. He's even picking up lethality at this point. These two marksmen are just massively ahead of the pace of the game. You know, you're looking across at their opponents, and they're so strong. It will really take pretty much a perfect engage for there to be any chance. Like, it's got to be some sort of a kick in or a set flank into an ult on one of these marksmen, and if you don't get that insta-kill, I think you've got no shot.
Nice try by Somedays. Thought maybe he's getting dove. Let's go ahead for the knockup. Now not going to find it. Good job getting most of the Krugs there, Xerxes. And now we get Dragon Soul. Really early on, by the way. This is one of the benefits of getting the early Dragons. Prioritizing it sometimes you're in these game states where you've got the early lead and the tempo's been pushed just too much. There's really no way you fight for the Soul. It's just not possible on the Thieves side. And so Immortal's going to grab a 45 Cloud Soul. They've already got the Baron buff as well. They're going to get so much done with this Red Bull Baron power play.
They are looking really good. Uncontested Soul. Full control in their opponent's jungle, really, at this point. You know, the line of wards is up towards that tier 2, so it should be an easy take at the tier 2. Tahm Kench is pushing mid, not a very easy target for 100 Thieves to actually collapse on and take out, so they're kind of forced into trying to fighting this 4-man squad, and they're just so behind at this point. It's going to be really tough to do.
All right, time for the sieges. The waves have been synced, by the way. Tahm Kench has walked in mid as bot is being attacked right now. Looks like the wave is thinning out on both sides. Reinforcements come through now onto this one. Revenge, his wave is gone. Just going to through the next one right in front of the turret. And these will not be synced anymore. But it does mean decent culling damage. A bad haymaker from Huhi. And the turret is going to fall. No more defense for 100 Thieves. So inhibitor going to be given up. If you don't fight for the turret, you don't fight for the inhib. You step all the way up. You take that one, no problem. Can you get to mid lane is the question, though, as the wave is being cleared. And actually, it's big damage now. Plus the ulti into Someday. Revenge going to be knocked into the air, dunked back, and just gets the shield. Huhi always gets deleted in the end. Xerxes burns a stopwatch. FBI under attack. Going to be knocked up. Big damage on Destiny, and that will be a Nautilus falling. So support for support right now is what's happening. Revenge is able to TP back in at full health. They are going for Nexus turrets. Baron buff still on for 12. Wanted to end the game. FBI is slowed. FBI has been chomped up. FBI has been spit out and destroyed. Another big kill comes through for Revenge. Actually, all of his kills are specifically killing the Kalista in 1v1 combat. The rest are assists, and it's time for the second Nexus turret. They're going to try to defend in a 3 versus 4. Now Huhi is back alive with an open Nexus. Can it be enough? Dive comes in, finds 2. That might be a kill, just barely. They've got the Ornn, and Draven is down, actually. Stopwatch used. Abadaga is low. Decent damage there. Insanity is still kiting. Cloak's trying to close it out as well, and they will get a couple of kills. They should keep the Nexus. Revenge doesn't have a way out. 100 Thieves will stay alive, and they're going to try to work back from a gold lead That is honestly pretty big. Revenge is still on his way out, waddling away for safety.
He's gone.
They might not have it.
No. There's no way you kill him at this point. His W's going to come back up, and you don't have the damage. Like, who here is going to kill this man?
This is a bit much. He's actually just going to play the
He's
1v3. He's in a 1v4. Rise coming in as well. Okay, chomps Lee Sin. Nautilus nearby. Can he make it happen? Needs the thick skin. Pops it. Closer's low. Dies. No. Stunned up by Huhi. And this man is going to die. And Revenge, I want to call it out. He deserves the flame. He chose to fight. He turned back around to keep battling. He died for it.
Yeah, he was feeling himself there a little bit. I think he probably didn't calculate for the Realm Warp. I think if Rise isn't there, you actually can't die. Those three members, like Ornn, Lee Sin, and Set, you could probably 1v3 at this point. They cannot hurt you. So I understand it, but yeah, he's getting a little bit too big for his britches there and does get cut down to size. Immortals wanted to end the game here. They could have just taken mid lane and Hib and played it a little bit more safe, but they saw the angle to win the fight. They're on to Revenge, but Huhi is just getting destroyed. Like every time he's going in, during the animations of his spells, he's just dying instantly to these marksmen. 100 Thieves, though, do stay alive. They back it up. They lost some initial members, but the kick onto the Draven after resetting here was really what kept them in the game. Closer does find a way to get back on a raise, and they really needed it. They needed to be able to take down this Draven or the Lucian, and that was a critical defense from them. As Immortals just staying around for a really long time, didn't really have full minions, and here is this play that I am talking about. As Closer finally getting in, Wardhop kick flash, straight in. Draven gets deleted. Abadaga barely staying alive, had the stasis to do it. Flashes out of that. Honestly, really well played by him, flashing out of the W there from Tahm Kench. And they have another shot. They're down 5K still. They're in a horrible position, but at least the game didn't end.
All right, 4.4K. Not completely horrible. This is a gold lead that we have seen people come back from, but they are down the Dragon Soul. Baron's alive in 15 seconds, and now mid is under fire. Keep in mind, no Nexus turrets means you don't fight for that. You have no turrets to defend you from losing the game. Huhi wants in, finds the first dunk, Ornn over the top, pretty good damage, but is it going to be enough as Set is pulled to safety? Frontline still very durable. Xerxes forced the zone, yes, down goes Kalista again. Huhi's on the way out, dodges away from Revenge, but Raze finds his second. The knockup will find Rise, he will fall. Closer buys a bit of time, but it's not gonna be enough. 4-0. And it's time to end the game. Immortals coming alive, 22-11, a bloody game. Love to see the top lane, Tahm Kench from Revenge, and a great victory.
Yeah, as soon as they got ahead, they had no answer to this Kench. He's sitting in the front line, playing so aggressively, diving onto those marksmen, constantly diving on FBI, pushing him back. I can guarantee you FBI did not have a fun game thanks to Revenge. The Tahm Kench looking so good. And honestly, just a really well-played game from Immortals. Back-to-back Dravens, back-to-back wins from them. It's nice to see them playing their own style, playing something a little bit different. No one else in the league is playing Draven. Raze can play it, has brought it out. Yes, they got very far behind early, but they got a lot done on the top side. They did well in the team fights, and when he finally got that cash in, the Draven became a big threat too, alongside Insanity, who was just kind of running away with the game.
I mean, really, really well-played team fights. I will call it the Dragons on kind of 2 points. One, despite the fact that the bot lane was behind early, Xerxes got like a first dragon at 6 or 7 minutes, which is like really impressive. And then, okay, sure, 100 Thieves, they got Herald, they crashed Herald bot lane. Like FBI was the richest man in the game at the very early point. Like I think he was maybe the first player to a mythic. But then that didn't matter. And even the Dragon Stack in the end didn't matter because Immortals were going to win, I think, regardless of Dragon Soul. They just team fought better. Every Realm Warp had a Tahm Kench popping up in between it and then going into backline and killing it. Like, I think Revenge carried all of the early team fights, and then it just became a victory because their team fighting was stronger.
Yeah. I mean, I think they team fought incredibly well. I also think that the Lee Sin did not pan out whatsoever. Like, he got nothing done early. Diana scaled better, was more valuable in the team fights. It ended up being this situation where you have the Kalista and the Rise as your only champions to actually kill the Tahm Kench. And, well, one of them is just getting kind of chased for their lives for every single fight. FBI is just getting chased out, had no ability to really actually lock down and kill off this Tahm Kench. They just didn't really seem to have the damage to punch through from behind with what was a pretty early game focused comp.
And they just got deleted. I think the bot lane combined for maybe 10 deaths on the Thieves side. Well done to Immortals. Now we are stepping away by the other side. Lit Tigers will be talking about that Immortals victory with Xerxes in the Verizon post-game interview. See you there.
lion.
Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull.
Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion.
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to the LCS. We have Xerxes here after an Immortals victory for our Verizon post-game interview. 3-0 week for Immortals, 4-1 in the recent 5. How were you and the team able to pull off the victory against the #1 team today?
I mean, I will be completely honest with you. I was confident in myself and in my teammates, but it was a bit surprising just because it was this change going from playing on stage to playing in my own room was such a sudden change. And yeah, coming into this weekend, it was a bit, I guess, tough because, yeah, like I said, the sudden change. And it's not like I can see my teammates. We're not playing from the same office, in the same office. So I'm just stuck in my own room. So I'm happy we managed to get the trio somehow.
I mean, with that change, because it is very different from the stage and then coming back to home, is there anything that, whether from you and the rest of the players or on the coaching side, did and made sure to have at the forefront of your minds so that you could be focused on the games and nothing else this week?
Basically, I think what helped us was to talk to each other a bit more in the day, like be on the Discord call before the game. So it kind of brings us in a way like together, even though we are not really together. So that in a way was comforting, and I think it made everyone feel a bit more relaxed.
And even aside from this week in particular, it feels like Immortals has gotten back to this state of being relaxed, everyone on the same page. We're seeing these team fights really come together. And I'm curious about your thoughts on something I heard in the IMT vlogs from a couple weeks ago. Revenge was talking to the rest of you about how what we're going through is normal, but not normal, and there's some tension that we're working through. Can you elaborate upon that at all and any changes that have happened with the team since then?
Well, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. We went 0-3 or like 1-2, and obviously it's much easier to have a good atmosphere when you're winning and everything is going perfect, right? And basically when everything kind of goes downhill, that's when everyone needs to put more effort into making sure that the atmosphere stays the same, that we can all communicate what our issues are, and obviously playoffs being so close is gonna, I would say, bring some of the worst sides of us. So yeah, we had a tough week, and we had to talk it through. And obviously now that we're 3-0, this is a huge week for us.
And that effort definitely yielded results both for you as a team and on the scoreboard, still fighting for that top 6 in playoffs. Xerxes, congratulations on yet another dub, and thanks for joining me here for the interview.
Thank you for having me.
We got more LCS to come, everybody. We're going to kick it to a break, but on the other side, the State Farm Analyst Desk is going to get you right and ready for C9 to take on TSM.